Hey, what up? All right, so I am building a newsletter business and I'm going to give you weekly updates even if it shits the bed. This week, we're going to talk about three things: a referral program, a Shopify integration, and content. So let's get cracking. All right, so let's talk about referrals. I put this under the shit the bed category. All right, so this is the email or the newsletter that I sent out last week. We'll get into more of the data here in a second, but you can see where people click. Like, for example, 5 clicks on the read online. People clicked here with the love, or one person clicked here with the love. You go down, you see right here, we get clicks to the articles. This is the referral program. Now, we got 4 clicks to it, which is, not bad, right? 4 is better than none. The thing I don't like about this is that it takes up so much real estate. This is on the desktop. A fair percentage of people, a large percentage of people, almost like 60 to 70, are going to be looking on mobile. So it takes up even more space because on mobile, it goes vertical, right? Like it's all vertical, so it's long. And then you have this referral leader thing I put in right here, which was bullshit, but I was trying to get some kind of like competition going or whatever. But all of this was just long. And so for the amount of real estate it's taking up versus the potential payoff, I'm not sure if this is where I want to go with it just yet. And that not sureness, that the feeling that I'm trying to express to you right now leads me to believe that leads me to say cancel it for now and just focus on building referrals or building leads the way I've been building leads, which we'll talk about here in a second. So I put this under shit the bed. I'm going to remove this whole thing because it just takes up so much real estate. And I don't think, all that real estate is worth just 4 clicks. All right. The next thing I did last week was, here's the website. For you guys who don't know, like I said before, I sell the seasoning. And once they buy the seasoning from me, I put them on the newsletter, right? So I'm getting people to, it's like self-liquidating, getting paid to get leads. But not everybody who comes to the website buys shit. But what I noticed was there were some people subscribing, and this has been happening for a while. And I was like, man, I want to capture the subscriptions of the people. They may not buy, but if they at least put their information here, I want to put them on the newsletter. So long story short, I got a guy. It wasn't expensive. Just said, hey man, integrate my Shopify site with Beehive to where anybody who puts in their email here gets kicked straight over to Beehive. And so that's what we did. And here's what you'll see when we started here a couple weeks ago, these are all imports from me, right? I had like over 17,000 emails or something, but only like 9,000 of those people were people who were actually engaged, who opened in the last 30 days. The re-engagement of the rest, that's a whole nother video that's on my to-do list. But so we put all these people in, right? And then you see again on the 17th, it's all yellow, you can't see, but we put more people in right here, like 11 people. And then on the 22nd, we put 22 people. So these are all mainly like imports from us, from people who actually went and bought the product. We get their email, we import them. Around here, you might not be able to see it, but this 5, 8, 9, 1, 5, 6, these are all like people who came from here directly. So this is all a product of the integration. So you can see right here, the import's huge. It's called the API Shopify. And it's, 5. Let me see. Let's see what happens if there we go. Look at that. You got it says API Shopify. Let's see what happened on the 26th. So you see me, we imported 15, but then we had 7 people come directly from the site. Same thing, 8, 9, 1. It's all trickling in, but it's small right now, but this tells me I can do a couple things here. I'm going to run ads to get people to buy the seasoning because that's how we self-liquidate the leads. Also, I'm just going to put general content out there. It's going to link back to my website, but it might be some content about a dessert. And obviously you don't need my seasoning for a dessert, but the whole goal is to get you to read it, go to my website, mess around, ideally come down to here and subscribe. So long story short, I'm going to get leads a couple ways. One, all right, I'm going to get leads 3 ways. One, through getting people to buy a product. Two, just to drive people to my site. And then three, people who are just wandering around or poking around the site, they'll join as well. And so we should see these API integrations start to increase along with the imports, and the imports are going to be from people who bought. So that is what happened, and that's, and then that leads into the next point. And so I was, I have a bunch of shit going on with just business and life in general, but let's just talk about business. A bunch of things going on, and it's like a question can be, I'm not sure if you've ever been here, where there's so much happening that you don't know what the most important thing to do is, right? When you're juggling a bunch of stuff, it's like, yo, which one of these things are the most important? And it could be, for me, I have a history of like doing a bunch of shit without doing shit, like running sideline to sideline as opposed to the end zone. Cause it just feels good, right? Like it's one of the reasons, like people will say, hey, I want to start, I'm going somewhere with this, so bear with me. But people will say, hey, I want to start a business. So what do? They go and they enroll they go to a business program for a college, right? And do that for like 4 or 5 years. And then when they get done with that business program, they go and they buy a website, and then they do their logo, and then they review products. They might even buy the product, and the product might even sit in the house. Now they have this degree, they have this website, they have this logo, they have this product, and then eventually they never launch anything. It feels good to do things that make you feel like you're moving forward. And we all do it in some form or fashion. And so my goal here is like, okay, let me make sure I'm not running sideline to sideline, doing shit without doing shit. Let me make sure that I'm focused. Like, what is the thing that's going to be moving me forward in all this stuff? So long story short, I went to ChatGPT and I basically had it act like an expert in newsletter acquisitions. I told it all my fears about, I wanted to make sure I'm focused on doing what is actually going to help grow the newsletter and move it forward to where it can be monetized. And long story short, I won't bore you with all the details. It came out to focus on growth and engagement. So what does that mean? That focus on, at the end of the day, quality content that's going to help grow my list. Who cares if I have a list of 50,000 subscribers if my open rate is like 1%, nobody's engaged with it? I have to grow this list significantly. My goal is 50,000, by the way. Right now we're at 9. I want to grow it to 50, but still have the engagement that we're about to dive into here. So speaking of engagement, this is the third part, the whole content thing. This was last week's newsletter, and what you'll see is this is just a click report, and people went and they clicked on the recipe. I had like 15 links of news articles that I summarized. And you could see that they were just getting, 3s, 2s, and 1s as far as clicks on that. So I was like, yo, they cared about the recipe, which is cool, but I don't want this just to be a recipe newsletter. I need people to be engaged with some other stuff. Because again, bro, they're clicking on the recipe, but they're coming because of the content, the big stories I put at the top of the newsletter. Then they go and click the recipe. But the stories that I put in there humanize me, get me to connect with them, get them to open my emails over and over and over again. So I'm like, yo, I got to have something besides the story and the recipe, which needs to be good, but I need to have them looking for some other stuff as well. And so what I did was instead of going 15 links with news article summaries, my thought was my demographic is probably seeing some of these news articles that I'm summarizing. They are likely retired. They're watching Fox News or Yahoo, or maybe some watch MSNBC, but they're probably likely already on top of the news. So me giving them 15 articles of summaries that might include some things that they've already seen is not going to move the needle. It's nothing unique. So my goal was, how do I find some things that they haven't seen yet, but they would be interested in? So I won't take you through the whole path, but I used AI and my whole goal was like, what are some things that they probably wouldn't find unless they were really looking for it, but they'd be very interested in it. And my goal there is just to put it in front of them and make it easy. And so what I stumbled on was there's 3 categories that I'm testing right now. One is kind of a drama category, just drama news. because I have a certain percentage of my readers, I think, that are into that type of stuff. So a little bit of drama, but focused on that demographic specifically. Me, I'm working with older people, 55 and over, more closer to 60 and over. And so what is some drama that's drama stuff that I could give them that's pertinent to them? So that's drama. Then there was travel, and then there was nostalgia. Because again, they're older, so I wanted to remind them of things that, you know, we're jumping off in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, stuff that will bring them back in time. This is what I'm testing. Is it going to work? I don't know. But it did a lot better than what happened last week. So last week you see these threes, and all these 15 links. Here, the recipe obviously still crushed it, but here's the drama. This one was about the four most common types of gray affairs, right? This is affairs that seniors are having. That one, 14 unique clicks. This one right here was about it's all the episodes of this show that was jumping off in 1981. This one got 11 clicks. And then this one was about travel, right? The Scenic Byway 6 Essential Stops for your Arkansas road trip. That one got 11 clicks, or it got 9 clicks, apologies. And so this is progress. We had this, nothing really happening with the external links last week. This week, we have something happening, which tells us that, oh, okay, we can play here. Let me start here. So I'm going to stick in these avenues. I'm going to stick with the drama. I'm going to stick with the nostalgia. I'm going to stick with the travel, and then see what happens over time. To whether do the clicks increase? Are they more interested in drama? Are they more interested in the nostalgia or the travel? If let's say they're more interested in drama, and I'm giving them 3 links, then 2 of those 3 links may be more drama focused, and the third would be travel. Or if they're interested in nostalgia, okay, 2 of those 3 links might be nostalgia focused, then 1 might be travel or drama. I'm going to take some time to see what they're digging, what they're clicking on. So that's everything this week. I have my newsletter ready to go out this week, and then when I come back next week, I'll let you know what went well and what shit the bed. All right, peace.